and put them out to a quick pace. But the leaders seem to kind of pull it back, because if you start out that pace, you're going to fade fast.
Oh yeah.
But as far as the race so far, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all clustered up at the front.
So,
and then not too far back is everybody else. So we'll see if they can make some distance between the pack and them here in a minute.
So if you didn't catch us, we had Lake Norman Charter won the boys race. Jonah Pine Lake's top runner was second. Really pretty close behind him. You saw it as they were coming through some of the camera angles as we were trying to push through. I think we had lost audio for a little while, so I don't know if people caught us during that first race. We said some
of our best stuff during that moment.
Yeah, just know that was our best moment.
Just imagine, it was the good stuff.
Yeah. So again, we got people going down the hill as they're starting up over there, kind of pointing through. Nico's trying to get it as he's drifting that way. We'll kind of get some of those runners, and then Nico's going to kind of focus on us for a little bit. So as some of those runners are coming through, and they're in our kind of our blind spot area as they're going to be coming around, so then Nico can then slowly, as he starts to see him, Nico's behind that camera. Nico, Bella, and Ella are out there on our finish cam. All right, so you'll get the first shot of them coming around here in a little while. They should be coming up around kind of over my shoulder, this part area. As they're getting ready, the first runners, they're holding off. We got some traffic that's trying to get out, but they're going to have to wait until the runners go through.
And here they come.
Yep, they're making their way around.
The cross wall.
They're going through that little random brick wall that we have here at the Gray, which conveniently is also gray. And they're looking like they're going through.
Banksy to paint something on it.
That would be pretty neat.
All right, so
I'm trying to see who is in the lead.
It looks like a Pine Lake girl.
It's either going to be Pine Lake or Bradford Prep, but I can't tell until they maybe get around and they start running towards us.
It looks like the Pride line.
Yeah, it looks like I see the line too. So yeah, it looks like we got.
And CSD has two girls. I think CSD has two girls behind her, who are kind of jockeying for position. They've already seen them switch from second to third and third to second a couple different times.
Yeah, so it looks. Yeah, you're right with the CSD.
And this is kind of a tricky part of the course here. They go over a curb. There's just a little slice of the parking lot back there that they jump off the curb and then almost immediately jump back
on.
And that could be tricky.
So they're running through now. You're starting to get some of them. We'll kind of get to see where that next camera is as they're going to be running through.
Psychologically, I'd imagine that when that gator takes off, you kind of naturally want to speed up your pace.
Yeah.
So it'd be really hard to say, okay, I need to keep within my game and not try to catch up with that thing.
So we got a large pack of CSD girls, and looks like Bradford Prep girls in the middle. We got some Pine Lake folks coming in through. We have our first set of runners making their way. As you can see, the Pride flag rolling nice into the wind there. That was a good shot on the girls' end. Right. As Nico is now going to be switching back over.
Here's where they come down that hill again.
Yep.
And
Pine Lake is in the lead.
Navigates that pretty well until the end, and maybe a little slide there.
That's a tough hill.
Now, when they do this, I should know this. They're not wearing cleats, are they? They're just wearing
most of them just have trail shoes.
Okay.
Some might have cleats.
Okay.
I think last year a Bradford Prep boy runner who won every time, I think I was there. He did have cleats. As a matter of fact, the one he won got a snack before we actually saw second and third come in. Which was pretty impressive.
Ate a couple bananas.
Yeah, he was already
some potassium in there.
He was already
Hydrate.
fueled.
Maybe use the restroom real quick and then just watch everyone else finish.
All right. Looks like.
So in the last race, I don't know. He's kind of focused on it. That mound out there, when the kids were coming back in, he tried to go over it, and it's not necessary. But I think he thought it was part of the race, and that closed the gap a little bit. He was out front.
Yeah.
So we'll see if the girls have that same issue because they'll come back around
as
this
they
way,
go through.
and we'll see if they make that same mistake. But that could have been detrimental.
Yeah, and we got some runners that are making their way on the backside of the course. Still, as again, some that are coming through as our lead runners are making their way back down the hill, and you can see families actually starting this time to drift further and further because they know now they're going to be staying on that side and not coming up back this way. As we got more of the Pine Lake buses coming in as they're going through. Again, we got lots happening, lots going on. And they're going to get into that kind of weird, quiet part of the area where, unfortunately, you didn't hear us as we were talking during the first race, so maybe we can touch back on some of the things we talked about during that time. Real quick, one of the pieces, because you probably, like I said, I noticed there was a technical audio issue that was happening that I didn't notice the first time. When it was going on, way cross country scored it's the top 5 runners. And Nico's kind of back on us. It's the top 5 runners as they get into this. They're going down Lion Tree Trail, so it's going to be a little bit before we see some of the lead runners come back.
And that's what we were saying earlier, if you're just tuned in now, was that coming up that probably what I would say eighth of a mile, quarter of a mile? It depends on how far down they go, but that is a continual slow climb, but climb nonetheless. And so that can really, I think, kind of catch up to you.
Yeah, and so that's where the girls are heading right now. You have some of the middle of the pack making their way. Some of the back of the pack is still over on our far side, by the sand hill that we saw earlier. That you were wondering if it's going to come into play in the girls' race. But again, they take their top 5. But it doesn't matter if you finish 6th on your team. We actually can push somebody who's on their top 5 down to kind of push points. And as you said,
kind of like if you do well on a quiz and the teacher allows you to drop the worst test grade.
Yeah, and so you're helping out your team in that pace. The other part is, as they're going through and going around, you want the lowest score. And so first place gets 1 point, second place gets 2 points, and so forth. And so that's kind of, like I said, it's a big deal.
So I know this is pretty soon to speculate, but if this goes well today, is this something that we're going to host over and over again?
So that's where, there's some questionable parts of the course that we had talked about before. They were unsure. I think if they feel it goes well, I don't think we'll host a high school meet, but I do think they might host a middle school meet here and then. Just because, and actually, what's interesting is there's actually football practice going on right next to us, and they at the beginning of the year, to kind of test some things out here, they did what was called a Cheerwine Invitational, which was the varsity and middle school teams came out here on a Saturday morning and they ran a course. And actually that course started and ended on the gray turf. Okay. And so it was a little bit more, I'll say, terrain friendly.
Yeah.
But they still would have gone down Lion's Den Trail. But this one, it kind of keeps them away for us a little bit more than maybe I had initially planned for our stream, but we're making it do. We're making it work. Like I said, we got our last runner is coming around the baseball field right now as they're making their way through. We're waiting for the gator to come back up the trail to see them come back around the softball course or softball field. If you're sticking with us, next Friday, we're actually going to be here for soccer. So you can stick on with our stream. And then we're actually going to be broadcasting a special volleyball match on the 25th. You and I will both be there to do that one because it's going to be Teacher Appreciation Night for the volleyball team. Yeah. And we were both cordially invited by one of the volleyball players. Ella came and invited me.
Yep, and I was second choice because 2 people wanted to invite Mr. Burr. And when they found out that one was Mr. Burr was invited, then they turned to me and be like, oh, I'll have to invite someone else.
He actually doesn't know the true story. That was
so it's like, I got to invite somebody, and they're like, are you available?
I was actually second choice. As the gator started to make its way back up, I was second choice. Kit actually told me, she was like, I wanted bitters, but someone had offered to invite you, and then they backed out, and then she was going for me, and then couldn't get me, and then she was like, "Well, Bitters is opened up again. I'm going to go this."
I think this is made up.
This is not made up, folks.
I play second fiddle to Mr. Burr.
That is not true.
Because it just is. It's true.
That's not true. We're equals, folks. The first set of runners are making their way around.
We'll set up a poll on X.
There we go.
And see what you say.
Shoot.
We'll crowdsource it.
I don't even know if we have our
we
Twitter
don't have
anymore.
X, I don't think. Or maybe, I think I got rid of it.
Yeah.
So anyway, Pine Lake is out front, and not by a whole lot.
Yeah,
it looks like
the gap is closed.
It looks like the CSD runner is closing the gap and making a move here. And this is where the last race, the race was kind of won and lost.
Yeah.
Pine Lake went in the lead around the outfield fence there. Something happened behind that windscreen. And the field flipped, and it was done.
Which I'm really surprised in. I might.
And right there, look. I mean,
she's closing in.
What's kind of cool is each post kind of gives you a distance of the gap. And they were about a fence length apart. Now right here, right there's the move.
There's the overtake.
Right at the 371 sign, right at center field, and she made a move and then kind of just settled into her kick again. And unless something changes drastically, she's going to win by several Gators lengths. Yeah,
she's increased that lead. We'll head into.
And we'll see if she makes it up this hill, which I would think she would, but that's about all that would stop her from winning this.
Yeah.
Is maybe a trip or something.
And I was just asking Nico. Nico, the varsity team, kind of ran the course earlier, and we're going to cut to that finish line view here.
She is making a strong run.
Yeah, she's increasing that lead.
Checks over the shoulder to see if she can just kind of cruise into the finish here, or if she has to kick it in gear.
CSD's going to take the first place.
First and third.
Yeah, because Pine Lake's going to get that second one.
And Pine Lake there's no Pine Lake in the foreseeable future here. It's
looks like
CSD,
so
CSD, I think.
There might be Bradford Prep on that far end.
Prep.
But I can tell you right now, based off those numbers, I think CSD is going to win. Whereas earlier we said we're not sure, we're not keeping real track up here. But Lake Norman Charter boys and Pine Lake boys, I think we're pretty close because Lake Norman had a lot of early runners, but then kind of fell back in the pack, whereas Pine Lake had kind of not as many in the top 5, but I felt quite a few in the middle. So it's Bradford Prep is going to be there, but she's kind of making a push, trying.
Yeah,
let's see if it's.
I think if the course was maybe another eighth or a quarter of a mile, Bradford Prep would have overtook that last runner there. And now we have some more CSD. 2 CSDs duking it out here. She is going to overtake her teammate here.
Yeah. We're going to cut through that middle area so you can see as they come up the hill.
And I love
CSD versus CSD.
I love that, that pushing your teammate, Now, I think actually it might have been Lake Norman Charter that finished first because it looks like Lake Norman Charter might have those green ribbons in their hair.
Yeah.
And they have the blue shorts. And CSD has the white stripe.
There we go. And we had a mother that was really excited to get her daughter as she was coming through. So we got some more that were coming in.
Oh, they come in
That's
fast.
Coming fast. The one CSD, again, it was that CSD.
Yeah.
They were going through. There's some more CSD and Bradford Prep.
And we see a Pine Lake, our next Pine Lake finisher coming in here.
There's 2 of them just crossing over into by the sand traps, I think. Sand pile.
Yeah. The oversized pitcher's mound.
We still got some runners coming up Lions Den Trail. I still haven't seen the trail.
In the den.
Yeah.
Couldn't find their way out.
It gets tricky down that way.
It does. Again, here comes a Pine Laker up the hill. She's really pushing it.
Yeah, you're going to see her come into view here in a little bit. There's a Pine Lake kid getting a number.
These are all Mr. Burr and Mr. Bitter's future students next year.
Future capstones. Kids. I'm sure of it. All right.
You know what is interesting? Seems like always the best students come from cross country and band.
They do. That's
like
a strong
music.
group.
Music. Like there's a crossover or correlation, if you will.
Oh yeah. It is a strong group of people.
Yeah.
We're still kind of checking. There's some gap. We're now getting to the part where there's some larger gaps up here. I still haven't seen our trail runners come up yet.
There's one entering into the softball field portion.
We got another one that I saw on the opposite side. I'm a little bit further back than you are, so I can see behind one of the trees. Again, this is our first go-around at the Gray. We have never run a race out here. Bitters and I actually came out
making history.
Came out with our media crew. So Nico and Bella Buckley, Eliana Grothwall, they're out here helping us. Eliana and Bella are on the finish cam right now. So what you're seeing is the view that they are showing. Nico is actually behind the main camera next to me. And I was just talking to Nico. We were talking about behind the windscreen. That actually is a pretty narrow place.
Passing place?
So I'm kind of surprised that in both races, both the girls and boys, that we had that last minute pass come through there.
And the only reason maybe what's happening is it's like in their mind they're like, this is the distance. This is where I can push it, and that's where they start it.
Well, you think about it. If you're going from that center field, you're really looking at maybe 800 meters left, 1,000.
Yep.
And so, in comparison to run a 2-mile race or a 2-mile race, that last little bit there, you can push. Our last runner has made her way up there. She is behind the softball field.
This one here was walking, so she saw this girl behind her, and they picked it up.
Yep. So we're kind of in a blind spot area. And we're trying to get so that way
back behind that windscreen, another pass happened.
Yep. And we got some tired people.
It was a
hard race.
I'm telling you that run up.
Well, you think about it, that Lion's Den, if you've never been out to the Gray facility, the Lion's Den Trail is a kind of a winding, weaving, uphill, blacktop. The only benefit is, for the most part, I bet a lot of it was in the shade.
Mm-hmm.
But
of speed bumps, not that you have to really contend with that when it's running, but
it's an uphill jaunt.
Mm-hmm.
And so and look at that. I've been on fire with your vocab words. But it's an uphill jaunt that's coming up towards the end of the race.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a tough go. When Pine Lake, when we were running out at Fisher Farms, one of the advantages Pine Lake always had, because they had practice out there, was they have a big hill that's at the mile marker. And our kids knew it, and it's a long uphill, and it winds over, so it kind of disappears behind the trees. And our kids were used to it, and you would see a lot of kids start walking up those hills. Here, it's pretty flat for the most part, except for going down behind the softball field and then down into that Lion's Den Trail on that second lap, too. Oof.
Right.
That's a rough go.
Yeah.
We got some that are getting warmed up and getting ready for the B race. Like I said, the B race is where it's all the other kids get a chance to go and run. As we have some that are coming in to support their teammates.
Yep. I was going to say, you see some Bradford preppers going out there to go grab their teammates and kind of run them in.
Yeah, I think we have a Pine Lake kid that's coming up on the far side there.
And I love that. I love that sportsmanship. That's what it's all about right there.
Yeah, and I think Nico got a good view of that as the Bradford prep kids kind of grabbed them up and was like, "Hey, let's go! Come on, you can finish it. It's not that far away." That's a dynamite thing to see.
I remember when my wife was doing the Tucson marathon, and I think she did the half marathon, but one of her cousins was doing the full marathon, and she ran, and then she ran back to finish with her other cousin. And ran the thing, so she actually ended up running like a full marathon when she did a half marathon. But there's that. What I'm trying to get at is that there is a spirit in running where they just seem to gravitate towards each other and support one another. It's a very supportive group. It can be very competitive, but is also very supportive, and I like to see that. That's what we need more of.
Well, that's and again, my son, he's run really hard. He was running that first race, and we kind of talked about him. He wasn't feeling good, and he came up and talked to me a little bit during this race, and he said, hey, I wasn't feeling good, and I didn't get what I wanted, but I'm okay because I know I'm not feeling good.
Yeah. And that's great.
But what's cool about it though too is one of our varsity runners saw me up here as we were setting up, and he's like, hey, is your son running? Tell him good luck for me.
Yeah.
And then I kind of left to Nico. I go, I'll tell him, but it'll be after the race because I won't see him till But that's, again, that leads into that support, that kind of drive. And what's always cool is, especially towards the end, and we'll cut to kind of that, you'll see that's actually the beginning part of the race, as the final Pine Lake runner is coming up. You have a support, and you hear claps from all sides. Mm-hmm. It's not just the Pine Lake folks. We can actually hear the cheers coming from where we're at, and there were several 100 feet away from where it's at. And that's what we've always talked about. The one benefit we've seen with Miles doing cross country is everybody's always supportive. And even Nico ran with Miles back when he was a 7th grader, before Nico left to go do football for a hot second, 8th grade, and then he's back on cross country.
That's what we're missing.
Yeah, I know. Nico and I talked, and he was like, you know what? I think cross country's for me. There's no reason for me to go and get hit.
I mean, I've told you the story before, but I played football for one day. I took a hit. We were playing an Oklahoma drill. I got hit by one guy named Bear, and he was a 6th grader. I was a 5th grader. He put me on my back, put me under stars. I didn't know how to get up. I didn't know which way was up. And the coach is yelling in my face, "Get up, bitters!" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is not for me." And so I went and played tennis.
Well, what's funny is, I did wrestling in the winter. I did, and then I actually would later on go and help our basketball team, our girls basketball team. They started paying me money to be on their scout team and do some recording, and then it led to helping coaching and all that stuff. And I was like, I'll take money over being thrown around on a mat. But and in the fall, the cross country coach goes, "Hey, do you want to run?" Because I had done back when we used to do the presidential fitness. I don't know if that still exists.
Yeah.
But I did.
It does now.
It does. And so I had to do the mile. Mm-hmm. And when I was a freshman, I had run like a 6-minute mile. Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Hey, you should do cross country." And I was like, that's a lot of running, and I'm not sure the purpose of the running. And so I was like, I'm good. And then I did golf. But you know why? Because I could walk, and I hit a ball, and I walked to it, and I hit it again, and then I was done.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a lot easier.
Contact is the club to the ball, not my face.
I was like, you want to do football? Nope, no chance.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting set up for the B race. They're going through. Everyone has finished on this side. This is our last race. Like I said, each team has as many runners as they want that didn't run in the A race.
Okay.
And so
this is co-ed?
This is co-ed, so you're going to see boys and girls out there running, just because this gives everybody a chance to compete and race and have fun, and then also have a chance to move up into
that top 12.
Into the top 12. And so I believe, I don't know if CSD has all the runners. If they have all the runners here today, I think they would have almost 36.
Look like the New York Marathon.
Yeah, they have 30. I believe they have a total of 60 runners on the race. So if I did my math, and Miss Falkenberry and Miss Morgan are not here to check me, or Mr. Kramer, but I'm pretty sure 12 and 12 is 24. Yeah. 60 minus 24 is 36. So they could potentially have 36 runners out there. That's just on one team. That's a lot.
That'll be fun to watch coming down this hill.
Yeah, and that'll be what'll be a cool start. Last year, they eliminated the B race, and they just had everybody run A races, boys and girls. Oh, and it was kind of a cool system, a cool setup, what they had going there.
For a second, I was afraid my daughter just fell down the hole.
No, actually, I'll be honest. I almost leaned back.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know, there's no steps on this side. If I go, you will see me just fall.
You'll see the end of Jeff Kerr.
At that point, you will see Mr. Bitters calling for help. All right.
And we've seen it happen, folks. Oh, they're
going.
The masses are off.
They're heading out. Look at them all go.
And here,
I'll be honest, not as many. So I don't think CSD's got their full team.
All right,
here
so
today.
here comes the hill.
We got some good runners coming in for Pine Lake, Bradford Prep, Pine Lake, Bradford Prep, CSD, and then it's a big old pack.
And then a big old pack. This is like the Kentucky Derby of Pine Lake racing.
And so, like I said, it'll be interesting to see how they start to space out.
So I don't know who is in the white shirt here, the runner that was like the trail runner, but he's run this a lot already. He's run this twice, and he's doing it again.
Well, and that's the thing, I think they sign up and they get service hours for helping out, and we appreciate that they're helping out.
They get service hours and they burn a whole lot of calories.
Yeah. As they get going around. They're making their way through as they get into just the outside of the baseball field. So again, if you're just joining us in for our live stream, this is our first time ever out at the Gray. Our boys, Pine Lake's boys, Jonah, finished second in the boys race. And we had, unfortunately, I don't have the girls roster in front of me. But we had a girl finish second in there. We're pretty sure. We don't know for a fact, but we're pretty sure we can say that the CSD girls probably won the girls A race as a team. And then we think it's a pretty close call between Lake Norman Charter and PLP based off of what we saw with some of the kids as they were coming in. Parents are making their way behind me as they're coming through. We see some people decorated out in the stars and stripes on here on 9/11. At Pine Lake, we had a memorial service, as we do every year. Cool part this year was we actually have a flag that'll be flying around, going around a different spot. It's around the country. And then it will be presented to a group in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. And so that was kind of cool. That was flying over Pine Lake earlier today. I don't know if it was taken down before the gentleman who allowed us to fly it over left, but I believe it will be down probably as you're hearing this, or if you're driving on the campus. We'll have our regular old flag back up, but the one that was up earlier today is traveling around. The kids are all starting to make their way up. Nico's going to put the camera back on us there. I realized we were on the start camera for quite a while. My fault, folks. Again, we're trying to do this he's going back over because right over here is where we're going to see him again. Matter of fact, he just zoomed in, and I'm going to step forward right around that lacrosse wall. That first person for Pine Lake still in there. We see a large gap now has developed between second and third. They were much closer earlier. And as a matter of fact, third and fourth are getting caught up to that second pack that's coming up. So then that first group, and he's leading that way. We're starting to see it come in. Looks like I said Pine Lake, and it looks like it might be two Pine Lakers.
Yeah, two Pine Lakers duking it out for first place.
And then a Bradford Prep just overtook CSD for third right now. This is just lap one, folks.
There's that tricky transfer, as I'd like to call it.
Yep. Matter of fact, as Nico is going around, he's kind of following some of those lead runners.
I was trying to see if that was like Eli Norman's brother, maybe.
It might be. I believe, and I think one is Eli. I think the second person is actually Eli, and I don't know. I can't see who the first one was for Pine Lake. And we got some coming around. That are coming around. Bradford Prep and CSD are kind of tied, neck to neck. We got two Pine Lakers behind them in third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Kind of see what's going on this side as the runners are passing through. There you see the first Pine Lake kid running through as he is coming up over on the opposite side. And Nico is making his way around.
Here we are.
He's trying to get unraveled in front of us, but don't worry. He wasn't on, so it was okay. We have some of the other kids as they're running through. You can see them as they come through that first lap. They're on their second lap. This is the tough one. This is the one where they got to go down the trail, and the lines then trail and then come back up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's kind of a weird event that's happening because there's a lot of things going on, including cars coming in and out. We got football practice that's going on.
Something exciting.
Yeah, football practice happening. We'll be out here next Friday for a soccer match as Pine Lake.
On the pitch.
Pine Lake's doing really well. If you're keeping track of the varsity side.
Per usual.
Volleyball is ranked number 1 out of 3A schools. Like I said, if you saw our game on Tuesday on Huddle with Ella and I on the call, Pine Lake was able to sweep Langtree. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure they held Langtree to only about 15 points total in the varsity game. We got, I believe, pre-conference coming up for our varsity cross country. That'll take place on Monday. Not out here, but away. So we got some things happening.
Lots going on.
Lots happening. As they're going to start making their way through. We see the B-Race, the Gators making its way around. It's right by the baseball.
And back there, they kind of go off kind of the edge there.
Yep.
And that can be tricky. And then they go off kind of another edge there to go by the softball. So that could be a tricky little transfer.
You can see Nico's kind of following them through. We'll see if Nico can keep moving it to where you see kind of that drop-off, which is going to almost be like through the goalpost. And so they're kind of following through. You can see some of the runners right there, and then they're going to go and start sneaking down a hill, and that hill goes right behind the softball field fence.
You see them kind of go up a mound and then straight down.
Yep. That's where I think my wife is actually standing over there helping them out.
Yep.
Making sure nobody falls.
And that's where I would roll. Just
to be fair, if it was me, now I told you I used to run a 6-minute mile. Now I'd be lucky to get 10 minutes, I feel, with my knees. And it'll be that hill where I would have stopped. And folks, I'm pointing to the very first hill.
Okay, yeah, that was not good. That's not what I'm doing anymore.
Yeah, I would have been like, oh, this is a horrible idea. What am I thinking?
That's what happens in your 40s.
That's what. Well, I told you, I think earlier they came out here and they did a Cheerwine Invitational to try to test this out to see if it goes well. We've since changed the course a little bit because football is practicing right now, and so the cross country is not running on the field, and they're getting to the part where they're going to be, excuse me. Going into that dead area for us, so we have no way to see kind of what's happening. But when we were out here, they had an open. They're like, parents, you can join. And my son looked at me, and I went, I'm not joining. No, thank you.
You will not see me doing that.
Nico's laughing at me as he's going through. We got some runners that are making their way through. We have our last runner that's over there. It's over by the sand our sand pit almost. Yep. We got some, again, Pine Lake and Bradford Prep are over there. And so we're just kind of waiting around. I'm going to step away for a second.
All right. A word from our sponsors, Mountain Dew. Drink of choice. Mountain Dew, if you're listening, you can send me some free ones. So the race is still going on. Probably wait a little while for them to come up this hill. A lot of cars going down. You can kind of see down there by 21. Cars kind of slinking out. So that's got to make it kind of tough.
So yeah, we're getting in there. I don't know if I feel like the CSD guy it might be waving at you. Maybe I don't know.
I texted his wife and said I keep on waving to him, and I don't think he knows it's me. Yeah. He was waving at me, but kind of like, who's that guy?
Well, it was funny is I saw him, and he was very persistent, and I felt like he was looking towards us.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think that guy's waving at you, Bitters.
Yeah. Like I said, we go way back, about 19 years. We taught together at Hopewell. We've gone our separate ways into the charter school world.
Well, and that's the thing is that as we're going through, as we're getting ready, we see some of our runners still making their way through the baseball field. Some slowly making it way down into that softball area. We're still waiting for the cart to come up. Like I said, this is a tough part of the course because it's probably the last, half a mile?
Yeah, I would say at least.
And that last half mile is really uphill.
Now I think these people have the right idea. That would have been fun to try to go up there first, and then come through like the narrow of those trees right there. Like maybe you get needled, you know. You got to kind of get skinny and go through this way. And
well, I mean, one of the places that they used to run at was Mountain Island. They don't run at Mountain Island this year because they're not in the conference anymore. One of the crazy things was you got into the woods and it was literally single file. So wherever you went into the woods, that's where you were for the rest of the race until you got out of the woods.
Okay.
And so it was kind of always funny because it would be up and down and you just see heads and they wouldn't move. And I know Nico ran that probably a couple times. And like I said, once you got into the woods, there was no passing. I mean, unless a kid probably fell, you weren't passing anybody because until you got out of it, you didn't really have space. And that's what I thought was going to happen with the windscreen.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought behind there, it's not that wide.
But that's the passing place.
Yeah.
What's interesting too, I've never been on campus at Mountain Island, but I've driven by it, and it sits down in kind of a hole.
Yep.
And so I'd imagine, all the stuff around there, it's way up and down.
It's a lot of up and downs. Mm-hmm. It was a tough course to run. It's where a lot of the championships were. And so I see the Gator coming up over the hill. So that first runner should be making their way up. You can see him. It's a Pine Laker.
Yep, made it up that. And that's a tough climb right there too.
Yeah, because it's a pretty steep piece.
You see him really slow down, and then some of them are taking a little bit more of a angle up it, so it's a little faster, but the lead runner went straight up.
And they're going to be making their way around. Nico's going to try to catch some of them as we get ready. We got our finish camera coming in. They're all set and ready.
So Pine Lake is in first by a good margin.
I think is that the second one that came up too?
I haven't seen the second one yet.
I think he's over by the flags.
That is the second one right there. He's going right behind the baseball press box.
Yep. And so that'll give us 2 runners in the B race. And then it looks like it's a CSD.
And there's not going to be anyone passing behind that windscreen this time.
Yeah.
At least in this group. Because they're spaced out by a good 75 yards.
We got some more runners as they're coming through. As Bitter said, there are people that are running through, kind of that are making up they're by the scoreboard, the baseball scoreboard. That's our first runner, and they're like as Bitter said, there's not going to be no passing on the windscreen, at least in the top 4, it looks like. Well, maybe. There might be in the 4th and 5th spot. So, number 1 is coming up through. He's going up the hill. Nico's kind of following him. We'll get him here in a second.
Number 2, out by the scoreboard of the baseball stadium.
The CSD runner has kind of closed some ground, but I don't know. It might be a little bit too late to catch up to get into.
He's kicking harder right now.
Yeah.
But not going to be able to.
I don't think he's going to be able to close the gap. So we got our first place runner right there on the screen. Second place just making their way up the hill. We're going to keep on this angle because we got a few coming in. They're kind of spaced out now. We got a race potentially for 4th. Because back in 4th we have a Bradford Prep runner and a Pine Lake runner, probably within 25 yards of each other. So it's going to really come into that kick. All right. We got the second runners in. There comes 3rd. So this is it. Are we going to see a push?
I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen. You can see the spacing out a little bit more.
It's spaced out on the
Now, just on the other side,
right field wall.
We're going to start to see some of the, we're going to see a kind of a big group here. There, again, you're not seeing us, you're seeing the finish line, but on the far side, just on the baseball field, almost dead center, we actually got about 4 kids coming in. We got another large pack that just came up the hill over the softball field. Oh, we might have an overtake.
Yeah, he started walking for a second, but he seems to have put the kick back in gear, and maybe can hold him off. We'll see.
Yeah. So we got Nico's going to be kind of catching him. He's seeing. You see, there's a little there. The gap was a little bit closer early at the start. Now the Pine Lake kid's starting to stretch it out a little bit in front of the CSD.
It's like a quick
runner.
Stop to kind of adjust or something. What's going on?
Now you got a big group that's coming up behind him. We'll have Nico kind of swing back real quick on the backside here. You got a huge group that's coming in. As he's getting centered in, you can see him kind of run in. We'll catch it on the finish. They're running hard. Pine Lake's going to take that. Then we got CSD.
Oh,
look at them run up hard. They're moving.
Here comes a Bradford Prep.
Yeah, CSD just finished. Trying to see the next. It looks like a PLP. Then another CSD just crossed the line from our end. Oh, we got 2 Bradford Preps. So it looks like they're going to be competing. As Nico's kind of keyed in on them. Eliana and Bella doing a great job on the finish cam. As they're looking to finish this race up. This will be the last race of the 3. Everybody's cheering, and we talked about that, the supportive part of cross-country and running in general. You see a lot of people coming through, and I think it was in that first race where, again, I think we had that audio glitch where people couldn't hear us talk about it, but we had some Bradford Prep runners who came and kind of supported their person and kind of led them in, which was a really nice thing to see.
Mm-hmm. So some CSD runners coming in, which was by far the majority of this race.
Yeah, so CSD.
Or some of those CSD girls, I believe.
Yep, and they're running hard, running through. Finishing this race strong. Still kind of waiting to see if we can see our fit last runner, if they're making their way up or around yet. As we were about 5:10 into the afternoon. It's been a long day for us, but we didn't go run 2 miles. That's for sure.
Yeah, no. Has that play clock always been there?
Yeah.
I have never noticed those.
They don't work though.
Okay.
That's why we don't pay attention to them.
So I've never seen this.
We're now, because we don't have a bunch of football that we're looking at. We're now noticing things. You know what's crazy is I've actually seen deer during football games over right where they're running. That would be an exciting thing. All of a sudden a deer just come out.
Just runs right down the center of the field.
Oh, well, then you just give them a jersey and say they're a Pine Lake runner, or we'll pick your school.
Just pass it to them.
Yep. We got a nice competitive race going on. Coming up the hill. You're seeing our finish cam. Our planters finish cam.
Planters. If you want heat peanuts, planters.
And, it looks like the Langtree Charter runner is going to edge out the Pine Lake runner there. But it's going to be close. Oh, just in front. We got some more Pine Lake runners coming in. My wife is commenting on the one aspect in this race. There's no shade.
None.
Maybe a little bit on the trail that we talked about, but for the most part, it's wide open, and they've been under the sun for the last 2 hours.
Quite the misnomer.
So
Pine Lake, no pines.
Yeah, that's true. We cleared them all out to make the gray. But that could be interesting when we see, again, we don't have the times up here, and I wasn't fast enough to get my phone out to do that. But I'd be curious to see how the times look overall as a group. The last runner is making their way up over the softball field. I can see them. My wife is cheering them on.
Yep.
She's giving them some claps.
Some hand claps. And some
let's go.
Some aid.
My wife is quite loud. She's the opposite of me in the sense that she's going to cheer on everybody. Doesn't matter what team they are. She's always working hard for it. And she wants everybody to do their best. And so she's going to cheer those folks on.
She's quite the runner, too. Right? She runs.
She used to. She has – both of our knees have since gone down the hill. Matter of fact, you were talking about doing runs as a group. And we ran last February the hot chocolate 5K down in Charlotte. You saw us.
There.
Yep, we were down there, and Miles got bored running with us because he was like, "Come on, I just want to run.
Yeah,
I could have finished this a lot sooner." And he and I were dragging. But the one thing I made sure of was I started to run a little bit faster at the end, so I made sure I was in front of my wife so she couldn't tease me because they both said I was going to bring them down.
You had to.
Yeah, so I had to prove it. Again, we talked about the camaraderie when it comes to here. Bradford Prep has their team up there cheering over by the sand hill. Oh, we got a good race going between. I'm gonna switch cameras to Nico. Bradford Prep really running hard against the Pine Lake student. It's gonna become close. I think it's not gonna be enough time for
it's really
the
hard
Bradford Prep to edge them out.
It looks like it gets close because when the one's running up the hill and the other one's trailing, it looks like it's getting close, but then as soon as they get to the top of the hill, they release.
Yep.
And it seems like they just open up the gap again. And there comes our final runners. See our trail runner there in the white shirt.
Yep, we got 2 runners left, it looks like. The Bradford Prep. They got a cowbell going over there. They're going to be behind the windscreen here in a second.
And I will say, I mean, there's no shade to any other team, but Bradford Prep seems to have a culture of this.
Yeah, they're
that the other teams aren't.
Yeah, and it's a good team aspect.
So
they're
like
cheering on.
That.
They're up there on the matter of fact. They're up on that sand hill, right now cheering that team on.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see them up there as they're getting those last runners in. Trying to cheer on their teammate who's in there with a trail runner, trying to say, "Hey, catch up to the Pine Lake kid."
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you want. And sometimes it's good for you as a competitor to go, okay, I got to make sure I stay in front of them. And you might feed off some of the energy that they're giving too.
Mm-hmm.
As they're getting in that last little bit.
Good to see. So, on a side note, it's good to see Jackson Robinette down there on the sideline in full pads.
Oh,
yes.
Been a while
since we've seen that.
Oh, yeah. And you can actually see here. This is good. This is cool. And Nico's got it centered right now. The whole Bradford team is cheering on their teammate to run up and finish the last little bit as Pine Lake gets going. Looks like they're going to finish, and then the Bradford Prep young lady, I believe, is going to finish as well.
There she goes.
And we are getting close to the end. I'll see them finish through. And that is our last runner.
And that is
congratulations to all the runners today. Look at that. Nice hugs there as we switch back to us. I really appreciate you guys being out here. Sorry we had some technical difficulties with the audio at the start, but we figured it out, and you got to hear us at least for the girls and the B race. Like I said, this is Pine Lake's first go. We don't know who won. We don't have the scores up here, and it takes a little bit for them to calculate those things. And so, but we think CSD girls, we're pretty sure on the A race, took it. They had quite a few in the top 10 right there. And then we think it's going to be a battle between Lake Norman Charter and Pine Lake for the boys. They kind of were trading off some spots there, and I think Pine Lake had their last 2 runners finish a little bit higher than the Lake Norman Charter runners. So,
Yep.
But we'll see. We don't know.
But it was a good showing for the first annual Mountain Dew Pine Lake Invitational. I mean, it's fun to see what we can do out here with the space that we've got, and the kids ran hard and showed great sportsmanship. So that's what we like to see.
Yep. And with that, we're going to step away. Thanks for watching with us. You can tune in on Huddle TV through fan.huddle.com, and you can look up Pine Lake, and you can catch our soccer action next Friday. We'll be out here, assuming the weather is good. And then you can catch us again the following week for some volleyball action. But thanks for sticking around. I am Jeff Burr.
I'm Adam Bitters.
And you've been watching Pine Lake Prep TV through PLSN.
Thanks.